Hi, this is Chris with Chris Cairns Real Estate. Today I want to talk to you about the costs associated with purchasing a home. Now obviously the largest cost is the home itself, but there are 3 or 4 main costs that you probably won't be able to get away from, so you have to keep that in mind beyond the cost of purchasing the home. So first off, there may be an appraisal fee. Now an appraisal fee is in the area of about $250 to $500, and an appraisal fee is charged by the lender in order to make sure that the house that they're lending against is valued as such. So an appraisal fee can be waived by the lender, so please ask your lender to waive that fee, because if you don't ask, they won't. But again, it's in the $250 to $500 range, just to make sure that the property is valued accordingly. Second is building inspections. Now, building inspections, unless it's a brand new build or it's a really hot market like COVID, even then, I would highly recommend a building inspection. That will cost between $500 and $700. Okay, so having an expert come in for a few hours to look at the mechanical, to look at all the aspects of the house is money very well spent, and I highly recommend having a building inspection done. Number 3 are lawyer fees. So depending on the amount of work involved on title and boundary lines and actually transferring the money, it will depend and vary between $1,500 and $3,000. So a lawyer fee will cost you about that much, and again, it can vary depending on how much work is involved. And finally, number 4 is land transfer tax. Now, land transfer tax, it's a graduated tax up to 2.5% for every dollar that's over $2 million. But land transfer tax in Ontario for, let's say, a $1 million home will be a bit above $16,000, and that's paid by the buyer. Now, if you're in the city of Toronto, you actually have to pay essentially double that, because the city of Toronto also has a land transfer tax, a municipal land transfer tax. So a $1 million purchase in Toronto will cost you about $32,000. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer, you will be able to get up to a $4,000 rebate on land transfer tax. So that is a bit of a break for first-time home buyers, but that is, other than the purchase of the property, is your next biggest cost. So you have to keep that in mind. And finally, there are some additional costs depending on the situation that you may or may not have to pay. For example, there may be adjustments on property taxes, which your lawyer will do on closing. So if the seller prepaid property taxes and you're purchasing halfway through the year, you may have to pay some property taxes that have already been prepaid. There also may be survey costs if you need to purchase a survey, obviously moving costs, as well as potentially utility hookup costs. But again, those are case specific, so those may be just additional costs that you may or may not have to pay. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that demystifies some of the buying costs involved. And if you have any questions, need any help, or even some advice or referrals on any of the experts I just mentioned, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'm always here to help. Thanks for watching, and this is Chris Cairns.